Let's get into some things of the things, child. We got some stuff to talk about today, honey. We got some stuff to talk about. Hit that like button. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We have a great time over here. You meant what you said when you said it. Really did that, because I don't be understanding y'all sometimes. And when y'all know when I say y'all, you know I ain't talking about y'all. You don't talk about y'all. It's me that all these people that got something to say have been actively involved in the political process in their world. I don't believe it. You ain't gonna convince me. I know y'all love me. What's up? Lord, I can't even get that. What's up? Oh, Lord, I got stuff on my shirt. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday. I hope everybody had a great Saturday. I have been relaxing. I was going to go out and go different things. And before I knew it, it was like 3 o'clock. I was like, oh, I guess I ain't going to do nothing today. But it's all good. What's going on? Come on in. Hold on. Tracy, are you in here? Hold on. Tracy. I'm sorry, y'all. Tracy sent me. I'm looking for the lawsuit Tracy sent me. Okay, it's there. I got it. Okay, let's get into it. So, y'all know this week it really hasn't been a lot going on. At least that well, no, we had the Malcolm Jamal Warner stuff, and then we had the Chadwick Boseman. So I guess we did have some stuff to talk about. But anyway, we're going to get into today. We don't have a lot. We have 3 stories. Tawana, it's close to 1 a.m. How are you enjoying your cruise, baby? Y'all know Tawana is on a Greek cruise right now. She's over in Greece, honey. And Greece is definitely a place I want to go. So she's gonna tell us about it. We're gonna get Ravine to tell us about her Norwegian cruise, where she said she had a ball. And we're gonna get Tawana to tell us about her trip. Okay. Let's get into it. Let me say hi to the people, and then we're gonna get into it. We have 3 big stories I want to get into. Well, not big, but anyway, let's get into it. Oh shoot, I forgot to do that. Oh well. Corey, what's going on? Hey, The Informed. What's up, Chuck? You just picked up your pizza and you ready for the meeting. Okay, what kind of pizza you got over there? I like pizza. What's up, Lock Queen? What's going on? Donna Pearl Jim. Hey, boo. Hey, T. What's going on? Hey, what's up, Cajun? Lovely Nola. Oh, Lord. It'll stop when... What y'all talking about? I saw the headline about a new measles outbreak. Okay, child. What's up, CC, Bama girl, Catherine? I said Catherine. Katrina, what's going on? China White, Chuck. We had a break from the heat, but it's been misting all day. It's actually been nice. I've had my door. I just closed my door. I've had my door open all day. And the only reason why I closed it because I don't know how long I'm gonna be live, and I don't, so. But it's been my door's been. I didn't open up the windows and all of that, but I opened up my door. Let a little fresh air in. It's been real nice today. What's up, B-Lo? D-Mac, DB, Alexis Thomas, Yvette, French Kiss. What's up, girl? Today's your birthday. Y'all know what to do. Y'all better light this chat up for my girl, French Kiss. So today's the first day of Leo season, right? So you're a Leo. Okay. Creations by Sean. Hey, I was in your area last week. Oh, you were down here? What'd you get into while you were here? What's up, Mel Green? Jazzy Poetress. Marcus from the VA. What's up, boo? Little Miss Introvert. Ash Tuck said, it's my birthday tomorrow. I'm living it up in Jamaica Tribe. Tracy, what's my tequila drink for the day? Well, first of all, let's shout out another birthday. Okay, tomorrow, Ash Tuck, today, French Kiss. What you went to the movies to see The Mandalorian and group? We will talk. We said we was gonna go see that, didn't we? Is that what y'all did for your birthday? Y'all didn't go out to a restaurant or nothing like that? I'm not saying you had to. You did exactly what you wanted to do. Okay. What's up, powerful? Hey, boo. The cruise starts tomorrow. You've been enjoying Rome, baby. I love Rome. Listen, I'll go back to Rome. I will definitely go back to Rome. Well, actually, I am going back to Rome. hmm. Wink, wink. I am going back to Rome. Lord willing. What's up, oh Singal? I hope I'm saying that right. Miss Gigi, what's going on? Tan. Okay, hold on, y'all. I'm almost at the bottom. Keena Kiss. Okay. You're going to Greece in September. Okay. Such important topics since you teach children her age. Baby, listen. C. Jones. Is that everybody? Pretty green eyes. I always say green and it's gray, but you know what I'm saying. Hey, girl. Yogi Felicia. All right, I'm almost at the bottom, y'all. I'm almost at the bottom. All right, Lil Baby, Bama. Oh, Lil Baby, that email kicked back, so I'm gonna have to resend it because I must have put in the wrong email address. So it kicked back to me. Matter of fact, I meant to do that before I went live, but I'll forward that email to you. I must have put in. I think for your email address, I think I put a G instead of a Q. I'm almost certain that's what I did. So that's why that email it kicked it back. So I'll send that to you today. You're going to Greece in September as well. Okay. You would love to move there. I don't know if I want to move to Greece because, from my understanding, it's a lot of hills and the cobblestones. Y'all know my legs. I can't. But I would move to Europe though. I would definitely move to Spain. I would definitely move to Spain. Yeah. All right. How is everybody doing? So let's get into these three stories. So the first story, let's start with a serious topic and then we'll lighten the mood a little bit and then we'll get into this Uncle Nearest thing. And the reason why I say that is because I think this Uncle Nearest thing is going to be the most that we have to untangle. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. You know, we beat up on Fawn Weaver last week. I know I did. And I still mean what I said. Okay. Let me be honest. Let me be clear. However, it's a whole lot of stuff going on. Okay, it's a whole lot of stuff going on with this Uncle Nearest situation. I might have to reevaluate some things. But let's start with the most serious so that we can kind of lighten the mood as we go through. Let's get into this D4vid case. I'm again, as I told you guys, I'm going to try to sanitize as much as I can because it's a lot. It's one is gruesome. You know, one is a gruesome case, and two, it just deals with a lot of topics that, you know. So let me read you guys this article. As you guys know, the trial is getting started. A lot of the preliminary stuff is coming. Oh gosh. Hold on, y'all. Who just thinking on my nerves? Okay. So this is a case. I'm reading an article from the New York Times. So let me read you guys. So this is the latest update in the D4vid case. Baby, D4vid, listen. I try to be very careful with my words. You know, I try to say allegedly. I try to say, you know, woo. You never know what's gonna happen. I don't want nobody to sue me. But baby, D4vid, you going to jail. D4vid, you going to jail. And they need to put you under the damn jail. If we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about it. They need to put you under the jail. Okay. Hold on. What? Oh, hold on. Child. What is going on with this thing? Is the mic? Hold on, y'all. Can y'all hear me? I don't have the microphone plugged in. Can y'all hear me? Let me make sure y'all can hear me. I done messed with something, so I want to make sure y'all can still hear me. You can't. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I didn't have the microphone plugged in. I was listen. T, don't you yell at me, but I have to unplug. Suffice to say, I don't have it. I don't have it. The microphone. We just gonna leave it alone. Okay. Yeah, he's going under the jail. What's up, Lady Virtue? What's up, boo? So this is the latest that's come out. I think this came out yesterday. The testimony that came out on the fourth day of the now, this is just the preliminary hearing. Okay, this ain't even the trial, y'all. This is the preliminary hearing. Okay. Details about the relationship between the singer David and Celeste Rivera Hernandez, whom he is accused of unaliving when she was 14, were presented in excruciating testimony on Friday during the preliminary hearing case. So excruciating, that is being described as a person who was in there, that as this excruciating, okay? A Los Angeles police detective spent much of the afternoon describing photograph after photograph of what investigators believe to be David and Celeste performing acts on each other. Along with text messages between them that discuss birth control, pregnancy, and abortion when she was 13 and 14 when he was 18 and 19. Prosecutors have previously said that David, whose real name is David Burke, and Celeste had a sexual relationship, but few details about their relationship have been disclosed. According to prosecutors, Burke, who is now 21, fatally stabbed Celeste, dismembered her body, and stuffed the remains in the trunk of his car. He has pled not guilty. The detective testified in Los Angeles court that a deputy county medical examiner described the poor condition of her body. Hold on, y'all, because I'm not going to get too much into that detail. We've already talked about her body, okay? The testimony about the photographs was punishing in its detail and repetition. He was asked to describe what appeared in the images, but they were withheld from public view, probably because she's a minor. During one break, a deputy district attorney, Beth Silverman, leaned over the railing to strongly encourage Celeste's parents to leave. She said, quote, "I just think it's too much," she told them. Detective Farrell said he had found the photos on an iPhone 15 that was discovered during the search of the Hollywood Hills home where Miss Burke had been staying. Text messages between Mr. Burke and Celeste, many of which involved their relationship and sexual activity, were also presented during the testimony. Detective Farrell said the two had first communicated on August the 8th of 2022 when she was 11. And had last communicated during the testimony. Had last communicated on April the 23rd of 2025. The data authorities say that she was unalived. February 2024, text messages appeared to show Mr. Burke and Celeste discussing moving in together, a plan they referred to as Operation Awesome. Operation Awesome. Celeste was reported missing from her home on February the 14th of 2024. In June of 2024, Mr. Burke suggested in a message that they get married in Italy. Soon after, Celeste raised concerns about feeling renewed symptoms of pregnancy. In a text message months later, Celeste raised concerns about whether the first abortion had worked. She later laminated loss. I do anything to have it back, she wrote. So are they saying she had more than one procedure? Miss Silverman went over the graphic text messages with the detective for perhaps 2 hours before introducing a text message that discussed sex. The prosecutor would ask the detective to restate the age of the victim and the defendant. On several instances, Mr. Burke told Celeste that he loved her, but as of 2024 wore on, the text messages showed the relationship appearing to deteriorate, with the teenager complaining at one point, "All we do is just hang out and have sex." What? I don't want to have anything to do with you in person anymore if I'm going to try to move on, Celeste wrote in March of 2025. Prosecutors have said in court documents that after Celeste was unalived, Mr. Burke, okay, again, I don't want to get into all of the things that he did with the body. Okay. I'm not going to get into all of that detail. Okay. She was unalived by multiple penetrating injuries that were caused with objects. 2 key wounds, one to the right abdomen that pierced her liver and another to her left chest. Okay. When the proceedings in, Judge Charlene, I ain't going to play with that last name, will determine if enough proof has been presented for the case to move forward to trial. The standard of proof is lower than what is required for a conviction. Prosecutors must show that only that there is a probable cause to believe that a crime was committed and that Mr. Burke committed it. I think they have more than shown that there's enough evidence to move forward for trial. Yeah. Sir, you need to be under the jail. First of all, I will never understand, and I mean, I'm glad because that means that I'm not a pervert. I will never understand what it is about an 11-year-old boy or girl body that does anything for an adult. And I'm glad that I don't get it because, again, like I said, that would make me some sort of a pervert if I did. You started communicating with this girl when she was 11 years old and you were 18. And you continued a relationship with her until she was unalived. And in that 4-year time span, because she was unalived at the age of, was she 14 or 15? In that 3 to 4 year time span, she had 2 procedures to, she was pregnant twice and had 2 procedures to end those pregnancies. I believe they met online. She was a fan. They met on like Twitter or TikTok or something like that. He was a TikTok star. I believe that's how they met. I believe that's how they met through, online. There was also evidence that showed where they also had a copy of a plane ticket where he actually took her out of the country, and on her plane ticket he marked that she was an unaccompanied minor. So there's no question about whether he knew how old she was. There's no question. Not that he would be able to argue it anyway, but even if that was going to be one of his arguments, sir, you bought a plane ticket and you literally put on a plane ticket that she was an unaccompanied minor. So you know that they met on Discord. Okay, thank you. They met on Discord. So you know she was under the age of 18. Again, I still have to look at the parents to a certain extent. I'm not saying that they deserved any of this to happen to their child, but I do have to question to a certain extent. I'm sorry. I do have to question to a certain extent. How would, and I know last time we had this conversation, y'all gave me all these different ways that somebody can get on a plane. Let me explain something to y'all. In order for her to fly internationally, she needed a fucking passport. And she may have already had a passport. Her parents may have already, she may have already had a passport. However, I just got questions. And who was right? And who was performing the procedure? Because at that age, doesn't there have to be some sort of? I mean, I don't know, y'all, but at that age, doesn't it have to be some sort of parental consent at 11, 12? She had a passport, but was it through, like, how did she get the passport? Was it a passport she already had through, like, she stole when she ran away, she took it, like she had her passport? You know what I'm saying? When she was reported missing, why wasn't her passport flagged? I thought that was something that they did. If a child is reported missing and the family says, hey, she has a passport, why wouldn't she be in the system? Isn't there like a missing child registry? Wouldn't that come up? Wouldn't there be a ding? I'm not even being funny. I'm just trying to understand. There wouldn't be any kind of ding. There's no missing child registry where she went to, when she scanned her passport, nothing comes up. They have it for men who don't, or men and women who don't pay child support. They have it if you owe taxes. They don't have it if the child is supposed to be missing and using a whole passport to fly out the country. It's crazy. I already told y'all how I feel about, now listen. I already told y'all my opinion about the parents and what they did or did not do. I personally, this is just my opinion. I don't know this family, but I know education. And what I do believe that girl came and went as she pleased. I believe that she was a wild child that went to, came home when she wanted to and was out in them streets. That does not excuse his behavior. Let's be clear. I'm not in any way, shape, or form excusing what this man did to this child. However, I do believe that she did not regularly go to school. I do believe that she left home when she felt like leaving home. I believe that. So what I also believe is when the school kept calling, wanting to know why she wasn't in school, because let's be clear, the law says, now every school district doesn't enforce it well, but the law says that if you are chronically tardy from school, absent from school, the school district can file charges against the parent. It's called educational neglect. It's called educational neglect. Now, I'm going to be honest with you and tell y'all, if we were to do a deeper dive into the timeline of when all of these things were happening and when the family reported her missing, I'm wondering if it coincided with the school saying, hey, where's this child? And if you don't produce this child, or you don't tell us what's going on with this child, we about to make some phone calls and we about to do some things. I don't know that to be a fact, y'all, but I would be willing to look into the possibilities. Now, I know they don't enforce it as much as they used to since, post-COVID, child. They do a lot of things differently. But the reality of the situation is, I know where I work, if a child continues to be chronically absent, we're going to make some phone calls. And where's the child? You enrolled the child, where is she? And the fastest way to get the school off your back is to either unenroll the child or say, well, she's missing. She ran away from home. She's not living here. And so I wonder, I bet you, and I know that the police are probably not going to make a big deal about the family side of it because of the horrific way in which their child, this young girl, met her demise, and because of what this man allegedly did to that child, they're not going to point. I don't believe they're going to point too many fingers at the family. They're going to treat the family with kid gloves. However, I think that the family bears some responsibility on what happened with the child. That's my opinion. Because again, how does your child, all of these things that were happening, and there's just so many things in place that I don't understand how these things were allowed to happen. Tracy said, I've been following all 4 days and it's terrible. It is. It is absolutely terrible. It is. They did file a police report. But I don't believe that if I believe that there was more going on before they filed that police report. And that I believe the family knew to a certain extent. Because remember, we saw that video. We looked at the video of Celeste getting into an argument with her next door neighbors after the date that the family said she ran away. So at some point, she came back home because the video where she was cussing out her next door neighbors. Remember, we looked at that video? The date on that video was after February of 2025 when her family said she ran away. So I believe that they were doing that back and forth. I really do. So unfortunately, you guys, that's where we are. And again, this is just a preliminary hearing. This is not even the entire totality of the evidence, because the police don't even have to present everything. They only have, well, not police, the DA. They only have to present enough that for them to say, we think this is enough for us to show you to prove that we have probable cause to move forward with this trial. This ain't even everything. She went back home after the police went to his house. If Celeste has younger siblings, her parents gonna be super strict with them. I don't believe that. So there's that, you guys. There's that. All right, so let's lighten up the mood a little bit. This is something that's gonna make you chuckle. It's something that's gonna make us laugh. And then we're gonna get into this Uncle Nearest, which is gonna make us confused. Okay, we're going through all of the emotions tonight. Okay, we have anger, sadness, laughter, silly, and then just fucking confused. Okay, that is where we just confused. Okay. So as you guys know, this Dr. Cheyenne, and I'm saying doctor in air quote, just for the purpose of this conversation, Cheyenne Bryant situation, we've been following it, okay? Quick recap, just a quick recap. You guys know that Cheyenne Bryant, who, I don't even know how she became famous, but okay, she became famous, and a couple of months ago, a situation happened where there was a question of her credentials. She said this is a whole waiting to exhale live. Okay, you know what I'm saying? We're going through all of the emotions, okay? So somewhere along the lines, and I don't remember anymore, her credentials came into question. So people started saying, are you even a real doctor? And she sort of played some word games and danced around it without ever actually really giving people an answer. And so y'all know the internet started doing what the internet does. Okay. The internet started doing what the internet does. And the internet said, we can't find it. We can't find it. We don't see anything where a degree was conferred upon you for a PH of a D. So then she said, well, the reason why, because she's got all these accolades on her wall behind her, but none of them are her degree from college with a PH and a D behind it. So then she said, well, listen, the college I went to closed, and then I can't get the transcripts. And then people came out and said she lying because I went to the same school. And yes, the school is closed, but you can very much get your transcripts. I got my transcripts, and you can get if you actually graduated, you have a degree, you have all of the things. The school just right now is just closed. Now, as a result, we pretty much had left her alone. But then this Netflix trend started with the people doing all the different Netflix documentaries. And she did one, which of course started all of us talking again about what she, when I say us, because I don't care no more. I told y'all what I think happened. I think she was enrolled in that school. I believe she probably did 90% of the requirement. But I think she just didn't finish. And I think in the time that she didn't finish, the school closed, and rather than transfer to another school and deal with the consequences of losing credits or whatever happens when a school closes and you have to transfer, I think she just said, hell, I was close enough. I just think that's what she did. I think she said, hell, I'm just close enough. But the reality of the situation is you could have just not said nothing. Because we really have forgot about you. We have moved on. There were other things going on in our pop culture minds that we just didn't care about you no more. So then she decided to do this Netflix skit. She decided to do the Netflix skit with an Amazon purchased hood and robe. Anyway, what I did not realize was that there was some friction between her and Dr. Jamal Bryant. I did not know. And I am going to say Dr. Jamal Bryant because he is an actual doctor. So I don't know. I honestly don't know where the beef came from. She was on his podcast and he said he got some slack about being about having her on the podcast because people said, why are you giving her a platform? Why are you allowing her to be up on the podcast, still talk, and she's not credentialed. We know that this ain't real. So as a result, he posts this on his social media. And again, I find it to be very interesting. And it just continues with this. It continues with this concept of this woman is delusional. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, and again, I'm being funny when I say the doctor part. Girl, go somewhere. Just go somewhere. So I'm gonna let y'all. We're gonna watch and talk. We're gonna watch and talk. Hold on. Where's the sound? Hold on. Oh, there it is right there. Hold on. Let's go back to
came to you and apologize for platforming Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. I felt I had a responsibility considering my sister is the former president of the American Psychological Association, one of the youngest to ever hold that position. Not soon after that, I received an email, a cease and desist, not to mention her name.
So he said that he had Dr. Cheyenne Bryant was on his podcast and people felt some kind of way about it. And then he gets a cease and desist from Dr. Cheyenne Bryant saying that he can't speak on her.
Or to speak to the controversy. I scanned down to the bottom and it was not.
So he was sent a cease and desist so he would not address the controversy that was surrounding having her on the platform. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to let it play. Let me shut up. Let me let it play out.
Not from a lawyer, not from an attorney, not anybody who was barred. It was from Cheyenne Bryant herself. I said, I'm going to walk away. I do not want to be a part of black on black crime. So I let it go. Never addressed it, never mentioned it again until I received this email. on yesterday from Dr. Jaquel Pitts, who is serving as the president of Indiana Southwest Christian University.
Let's read it. Greetings. My name is President Jaquel Pitts. That's your name? I'm the president of Indiana Southwest Christian University. Okay, I'm not gonna edit. I am pleased to announce that the university that I am currently the president of recently conferred Cheyenne Bryant okay, I'm gonna have to edit it. A earned degree, that should be an earned degree. Okay. Earned doctorate degree in theocentric psychology. I want to be transparent. That is not an honorary degree. This is not an honorary degree. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant was provided transcripts. Due to FERPA regulations, I will not be providing a copy of her transcripts, as you have to contact Dr. Bryant for a copy of that. First of all, let's just assume that that's real. We're going to get to that in a second. Let's just assume that this is a real thing. You proved our point, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. You proved the point that you never got an earned doctorate prior to this controversy, because that email is saying that you've recently got your doctorate. You've been calling yourself a doctor for years, ma'am. You didn't just start calling yourself no doctor. Okay, let's keep going, child. Let's keep going.
Who said to me in writing that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant has just received her PhD in theocentric psychology. I did a quick Google search. Indiana, the whole state, does not recognize Indiana Southwestern Christian University, is not registered. The president claimed that the degree is in theocentric psychology. Again, I didn't even use Claude or ChatGPT. Google, the cheapest one, says that theocentric psychology shifts a person from ego to universal thought. I don't even know what that means. The president goes on to say that they cannot provide any transcripts. I send a one-line email. Who are y'all accredited by? And he sent me back this. Accreditation Religioso. I don't know what this means. But ladies and gentlemen, the last line.
What is Accredio Religioso? Okay.
That I've highlighted for you is no transcript can be provided. I'm not going back and forth with y'all. The president of Indiana Southwest Christian University doesn't even have a college email. Jaquel Pitts is on Gmail. So if you want the transcript, email him directly, and maybe he'll be able to give you answers I'm not able to provide. Y'all, let's shut the case on Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. The only robes I want to see people in are
y'all
500 kids who are trying to go to Howard. And
I'm gonna do a deep dive into that Howard situation too. But anybody that knows anything knows that if you are working for an educational institution, you do not have a Gmail account. Not an official in your role as president of it. You do not have a Gmail account. You have an EDU account. You have a .net account. You do not have a Gmail account. That is not how that works. I need Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, and I just keep saying doctor, I just need her to go sit down. Ma'am, nobody believes you. And it's okay, because at the end of the day, people are still going to buy your books. People are still going to go to your website and do your damn trainings. People are still going to show up when you have a speaking engagement. People are still going to support you. I'm not. But hell, I didn't before. And you made Jamal Bryant, Dr. Jamal Bryant, you made him come out and say something. You really did. Because I feel like that man really wanted to leave you alone. I feel like that man really wanted to leave you alone. But why you sending him fake cease and desist, ma'am? And fake letters from fake presidents from fake schools? You just made up a school and hope nobody was going to Google it. Oh, man. Okay. Now, let's get into this crazy. Let me tell you something. You talking about a documentary that need to be made. This Uncle Nearest lawsuit is a documentary that needs to be made. It really is. I'm sorry. So we have another twist and another turn in the case of Uncle Nearest versus everybody. I'm gonna just call it Uncle Nearest versus everybody. Now, as always, y'all know our showrunner, aka Tracy, has pulled the documents for us, and we're going to read it. Now, I need to give y'all a little bit of background. For those of you who've been here from the beginning, bear with me. I need to get everybody caught up. I just need to get everybody caught up a little bit. Uncle Nearest was sued by the name is going to come up in a minute, but Farm Insurance. Basically saying they owe us a lot of money for these loans. Now, what happened was Farm Credit, thank you, little baby, Farm Credit, said that Uncle Nearest got these loans from us, and as a result, we feel like there's mismanagement of the money. Their COO, CFO, the C person, inflated the value of the company by saying they had more barrels of on hand than what they had, and as a result, we would have never gave him this money had we known. And there was fraud and all of these things. We know that eventually it went on CFO. Thank you. We know that eventually it went under a receivership. The receivership has in turn found all of these discrepancies and has fired Fawn Weaver and her husband from the company. The company is now, I believe, up for sale, or that is the recommendation, that the company be sold. And that is where we are. But there is a twist. And I want to shout out, I'm not a lawyer, but y'all support her. If y'all don't know who I'm talking about, y'all subscribe to her on YouTube, on TikTok. I follow her, and she did a video last night on this twist, because I thought it was old. When I first started listening to it, I was like, oh, this is something old. This is old. This ain't. But then she said that this was after Fawn Weaver was fired. I said, well, hell, Fawn Weaver was just fired at the beginning of June. Like during June, so this has to be something, a recent update, or the beginning of July. Something. I said, this has to be a recent update. Y'all wait till y'all hear what's happening now. Let me share. Let me get into this document. I'm gonna read through the information, but then I'm gonna let y'all hear the I'm not a lawyer but breakdown. But let's get into it. No, it's not a press. This is then the legal documents, baby. This ain't no press release. This is real. We're gonna read the documents. You know I don't fool with Fawn Weaver like that, y'all know. All right, now Tracy told me to go to page 12, so we're gonna go to page 12. Okay. All right, let's go to page 12. Y'all know that's the factual allegations. So we're going to read through the factual allegations as is in this lawsuit. Okay. Now, actually, hold on. Let me go back to the beginning for a second. Let me go back to the top. Farm credit plaintiff versus Uncle Nearest. Okay, so this is all of the things that have been moved around in the original lawsuit. Okay, so let's go to page 12, the factual allegations. Okay. Okay. Let me try to make it a little bit. Can I make it a little bit bigger? Okay. Can y'all see it? Okay. Hold on. Let me do this. You love Amada Lawyer? Yeah, I love her content. I love her. Okay. On July the 22nd of 2022, Uncle Nearest entered into a credit agreement with Farm Credit that established 3 facilities: a revolving loan, a term loan, and a real estate line of credit. So a revolving loan is like your credit card, you pay on it, you pay, like a credit card. And of course, a term loan is like your mortgage payment. And then a line of credit, when you get a line of credit against the equity in property or things of that nature, okay? The revolving loan was originally issued in the amount of $35 million. Michael, we're going to call him Michael S., served as chief financial officer of Uncle Nearest from the company's earliest stages until his departure in approximately October of 2024. As CFO, Mr. S exercised nearly exclusive control over Uncle Nearest's financial reporting systems, loan compliances, and credit facility interactions with Farm Credit. He was responsible for preparing and transmitting all recurring reports of Uncle Nearest's inventory, including barrel whiskey, bottled whiskey, and grain, collateral, and financial conditions to Farm Credit. He also routinely acted as the sole point of contact on lender matters, okay? Mr. S presented key financial submissions to Farm Credit in the form that concealed the counter plaintiff's true burden and outstanding obligations. Mr. S, acting alone or in concert with others, inflated inventory numbers on these documents for the purpose of including Farm Credit, inducing Farm Credit to approve multiple increases in the counter plaintiff's revolving line of credit. Mr. S has admitted, during interviews with third-party investigators, I feel like that might be law enforcement, but I don't know that to be a fact. He has admitted with third-party investigators retained by Uncle Nearest to falsifying monthly financial reports submitted to Farm Credit beginning in 2022. Based on reports available, Mr. S further admitted to third-party investigators that he affixed Fawn Weaver's signature on multiple corporate documents without her knowledge or consent. He diverted equity belonging to Fawn Weaver for her personal benefit and admitted that he had concealed this for years. He fabricated board minutes purporting to show Fawn and Keith Weaver's approval in order to deceive lenders into approving unauthorized loans and misappropriated funds to purchase his Las Vegas home and acquire vehicles and to gamble. I'm going to keep going. By August of 2023, as a result of Mr. S's actions, the revolving loan had increased from $35 million to $65 million. Between July 22nd of 2022 and August 2nd of 2023, Mr. S submitted 28 distribution requests on the Farm Credit facility at a pace equivalent to nearly one every 2 weeks, totaling nearly $67,000 million. Each request was approved, even though Mr. S was the sole signee on all of them. Documentary evidence confirms that Farm Credit routinely approved loan requests without requiring the knowledge, consent, or confirmation of Ms. Weaver, the company's principal decision maker. Farm Credit's conduct allowed Mr. S to exercise economic control over the counter plaintiffs while excluding the actual owner from notice, approval, or oversight. So this is why I said, well, maybe I need to come back and give Farm Weaver just a little bit of an apology, because the man was stealing from her. The man was stealing from her, and she ain't know. He was forging her name on paperwork, forging her name on stuff, and he was taking the money and spending it himself. Let me keep going. Upon information and belief, as part of a vendor diversion scheme, Mr. S rerouted funds approved by the Weavers to be paid to Uncle Nearest vendors to companies he controlled. Mr. S, acting alone or in concert with others, exploited a loophole in the Bill.com system to exchange payees and amounts after they had been approved in the ordinary course of Uncle Nearest's accounting procedures. At the time, financial reporting prepared by Mr. S reflected that Uncle Nearest's accounts payable stood at approximately $345,000 after his departure in October 2024. The appointment of the receiver in August of 2025. The true outstanding accounts payable was well in excess of $10 million. Farm Credit failed to implement verification procedures that any competent lender would employ. Instead of verifying the accuracy of Mr. S's reports, conducting independent collateral inspections, or confirming amendments with the other corporate offices, Farm Credit deferred entirely to Mr. S's request and proceeded and process. Excuse me, y'all. Process this. I need to put my reading. Hold on. I can't make it bigger. This writing is small. Hold on. Let me put my reading glasses on, child. Because Lord knows I can't see these. I can't see these words. I can't see these words. Okay, that's better. Okay. Farm Credit's willingness to overlook obvious irregularities, including the sole signatory status of all 28 drawdown requests, allowed Mr. S to expand the credit facility by more than $30 million and to conceal the true state of the counter plaintiff's obligations until the fraud became impossible to hide. Farm Credit failed to confirm the counter plaintiff's financial condition by requesting filed tax returns, audited financial statements, and other documents that would customarily be requested by any reasonable commercial lender to support a loan of this magnitude. A credit facility exceeding $100 million demands a heightened diligence, yet Farm Credit extended tens of millions of dollars without obtaining basic financial verification that is standard practice in commercial lending. Under Farm Credit's written policy procedure, drawdown could be requested and funded within 24 hours without independent confirmation from any other company officer or without notice to Ms. Weaver, even though she was the company's principal decision maker and sole authorized signatory for material facility changes. Upon information and belief, Farm Credit did not contact Ms. Weaver, the company's CEO, major shareholder, and the only executive signatory on facility amendments, to confirm that she was aware of or had authorized these repeated drawdowns. A single telephone call or email to Ms. Weaver at any point during the 13 months of drawdowns might have exposed Mr. S's fraud. Farm Credit's failure to make even the minimal inquiry constituted gross negligence and willful blindness. Farm Credit effectively permitted $67 million to be drawn off the facility without performing the most basic oversight. Okay. And it goes on and on. I'm not going to read every single thing, but it goes on and on and on and on and on to say Farm Credit should have done their due diligence. So as a result, the twist that happened is that the receiver, remember, Uncle Nearest is under receivership. The receiver has now countersued Farm Credit, saying But for your negligence, these loans would have never happened. It's your fault that Uncle Nearest overextended themselves because you continue to increase their credit limit without doing the basic of due diligence and making sure that something as simple as, does Fawn Weaver know what's going on? Because her signature is supposed to be on all this stuff and her signature ain't here. You said, so the receiver believes everyone was in on it because there are photos of Fawn and the president of Farm Credit at their Martha's Vineyard home. I don't think that just because the president of the farm, I don't think that just because he was at her Martha's Vineyard home, that means that they were in cahoots. I believe that he was a major funder, and when she was having events at Martha's Vineyard, remember she said that the Martha's Vineyard home, we know they had events there. We talked about that. He would have been on any invitation list. Hell, he loaned her $67 million. He's going to be on anything that she has. She's going to invite Farm Credit to everything. He's a major lender. So I don't think that automatically means that they were in cahoots together. I don't believe that. What I believe, I still don't believe that this takes Fawn Weaver 100% off the hook. But what I do believe is that I believe that she was not doing her due diligence. She put somebody in place. She let them do their job, and she did not follow behind them. She was too busy doing whatever the hell she was doing over here, and he was stealing from her. And as a result, her company was getting more and more into debt. The man was stealing the money. She was over here spending money. And I think that ultimately is what happened. That's just my opinion. Now, I still feel like at the end of the day, the buck stops with her. It's her company. I couldn't find my glasses, y'all. Sorry. Hold on. The receiver is trying to smoke something out. Suing Farm Credit is a chess move. What is he trying to smoke out? No, they weren't keeping on top of making sure the company was good for their loan. Right. And with the receipt, so the receiver is saying, listen, I took care of Uncle Nearest over here. Remember, he's already fired Fawn Weaver. He's already fired her husband. He's already said that, they can't file, they tried to file bankruptcy. The receiver was like, you cannot file bankruptcy while you're under receivership. Like all of the things that Uncle Nearest was doing over here, the receiver has handled Uncle Nearest. Now the receiver is saying, look, I dealt with this over here. There was definitely negligence over here where, they didn't do their due diligence. However, you're not off the hook. You're not off the hook over here, Farm Credit. You started all of this, because I still think that their reason for starting this wasn't pure. But we already talked about that. I still don't think that their reason for starting this whole bullshit was pure. But you started all of this, but you don't come here with clean hands. You don't come here with clean hands. You don't come here with clean hands. Because you should not have continued to give these loans. Because you did not do your due diligence. Why was a company who had a $35 million credit limit allowed to increase the credit limit to $60-something million without any questions? Y'all didn't ask for tax returns to look at the revenue to see if the revenue had gone up. Y'all didn't check. Y'all didn't even call Fawn and have a conversation. Y'all didn't even say, hey, girl, let's sit down and talk. Why you keep asking us for more money? What you got going on? What's going on? Now, on the flip side, and this is why I say, when I say I'm giving Fawn Weaver a little bit of an apology, I do mean a little bit of an apology. I don't mean I'm apologizing to her for everything, because I still feel like you were negligent and you were spending the money. You did buy the Martha's Vineyard property. Like, you were spending the money. Let's not act like you weren't. So do I think, this is what I believe. And I don't know nobody. Listen, I don't know none of this to be true. This is my opinion. I think Fawn knew some of it. I don't think she knew everything. I don't believe that Fawn knew everything that was happening. I do think she knew some of it. That's my opinion. Right, T. That's why smart companies have oversight committees. Absolutely. Trying to steal the company and the liquor recipe. Ooh. Yeah, I definitely feel like Farm Credit has I definitely feel like Farm Credit is on some bull hockey. I'm just being honest, y'all. I agree with you on that, little baby, that this is a whole ball of mess. Little baby said the Southern District of New York is involved. Yeah, because oh boy, why he ain't been arrested yet? But he talking. And Fawn better hope that he don't have no proof that she was in on it. Because he going to jail. And he only reason why he don't go to jail is because he cooperating and he got bigger fish to give him. But that man need to be going to jail. If all of that has been independently corroborated, yeah, he lawyered up. He's absolutely talking. He is absolutely talking. And Fawn Weaver and her husband better hope that he don't have no proof that she was in on it. That's all I'm saying. They probably do predatory lending in it too. I'm just saying. Again, I never thought. It just got ugly. The more information we found out, it got ugly. But y'all know how I felt from the beginning. I always felt like this was an attempt to steal this woman's company. It just looks like she made it easy for him. You see what I'm saying? It looks like she made it easy for them. But I always felt like this was an attempt to steal this woman's company. Dang it. I knew. Damn it. I'm mad at myself. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm sorry. Something just popped in my head just that quick. I was going to go somewhere today and pick up something, and I remember why I wanted to pick it up. But it's all good. They CFO was a thief, but it looks like the Weavers got a lot of the benefit. TAC, I'm with you on that one. That's why I said she don't have clean hands either. You know, she don't have clean hands either. But I also feel like it's a whole ball of mess. And I don't feel like anybody got clean hands in this. I don't feel like Farm Credit has clean hands. I don't feel like that CFO has clean hands. And I don't feel like Fawn Weaver has clean hands. I think they all was in some shit. But I think that Farm Credit, and I'm gonna tell you what I think too, and this might be what Lil Baby was insinuating a few minutes ago, when she said there may have been somebody at Farm Credit that was benefiting as well by approving these things. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all feel me? And maybe the walls were closing in on him or her. Maybe this original lawsuit was an attempt for somebody over at Farm Credit to cover their ass. Thinking this was going to be some easy woo, woo, woo. And it done kicked over a whole can of worms. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't think nobody got clean hands in this. And honestly, it's just going to come down to I'm sorry. So for me, I feel like on the criminal side of this, it's probably going to get real ugly. And I believe that people from all three entities are going down. I believe that on the Uncle Nearest side and on the Farm Credit side, I think it's some shit. Farm Credit did respond saying that they aren't responsible for anything that happened prior to 2025. Well, of course they are. What they're going to say, y'all right, we fucked up. Of course they're going to deny it. It's going to come down to, I mean, the receiver can sue and it's going to go to court. I mean, you know, and it's going to come down to what a judge believes. But on the criminal side, yeah. Yeah. Yep. But that's all I have for y'all tonight. I may, since I'm not going nowhere tonight, I may go ahead and do Heart and Hustle Houston tonight because I know I can't do it tomorrow. I know T does his tonight, and I hate to overlap him when us talking about the same thing. But I may have to because I'm gonna be out all day tomorrow. I'm not gonna be back home tomorrow till probably 5-6 o'clock. So there was a document that Fawn signed that put that in place. Put what in place, baby? Little baby, put what in place? Because remember, it depends on what that document said and when it was signed. Because that's one of the things they're saying. They're saying that this CFO was forging signatures, honey. About farm credit not being responsible. About farm credit not being responsible. Child, that don't mean nothing. Fawn can't, she can't release them from negligence. She doesn't have the authority to release them from negligence. If they did not follow their own procedures that they were supposed to follow in-house on what they're supposed to do to verify, she can't release them from that. Not in a lawsuit like this. She can't say, oh, don't worry, because she was the one that benefited from it. She can't say, oh, y'all didn't do nothing wrong when y'all gave me an extra $30 million without verifying my income. That's like you, that's like the car dealership approving you for $30,000 and then coming back and saying, oh, you know what? We're going to give you $60,000 and you getting a car that you know you can't afford, and they didn't follow their own procedures, and you say it wasn't y'all's fault that y'all approved me for $60,000 without checking my credit and without making sure I could afford it. Don't worry. You can't release them from negligence if they violated their own rules. She can't do that. Yeah, she can't. Okay, Chuck. Yeah, she doesn't have that authority. So I mean, that's great that she signs a paper, but she don't have to. I mean, a judge doesn't have to. What a judge going to do with that? All right, y'all, but I'm gonna get out of here. Let me I may come back and do Heart and Hustle. I got a little energy, honey. Criminal side needs clear and convincing evidence to convict criminal charges filed. If criminal charges are filed, yeah. Well, baby, y'all know the Southern District of New York don't play no games if that's where it's going. I hope she used her salary to buy that house and not business funds. Well, the house in Martha's Vineyard, they're already making them sell that one. So her other house, I don't know. Oh, wow. Okay, I don't know what that is. All right, you guys, let me get out of here. Yeah, I know that's where you gonna be watching the WNBA All-Star game. I'll probably watch a little bit of that. I'm going to watch Heart and Hustle Houston, and I'll probably watch a little bit of that too, though. I'm sure it's gonna be a good game. I've been watching all the shenanigans. I was saying we should have went to Chicago. I'm thinking I might want to try to go to the All-Star game next year. I know I always be wanting to go everywhere, child. I be wanting to go everywhere. But I want to do an All-Star, WNBA All-Star weekend. It looks like it's a good time. They look like they're having a good time in Chicago. I don't even know where it's gonna be next year, but where is it even gonna be next year? Hold on, let me see. Have they announced it yet? Let me see. Let me see. Where is the WNBA? Was it 2027? This 2026, right? Okay, 2027. Oh, child, you already know it's in Phoenix. Okay. Phoenix? Ooh, that could be an intimate. Ooh, we could do a nice spa. You know, they got good spas in Phoenix. I don't know. That might be a move. That might be a move. That might be a move. I have to check it out. All right, y'all. Let me get out of here. Oh, that's the NBA. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Let me see. It hasn't been announced yet. Yeah, according to Google, it hasn't been announced yet. So, all right, y'all. You just left performing at the WNBA. Okay, Miss, where you been at, House of the Princess? Where you been? Well, congratulations to you, boo. Yeah. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all know y'all see me if not before. I watched Raising Kanan. I haven't done my review yet. I watched Raising Kanan yesterday. It was a pretty good episode. I haven't done my review because I don't. Some of that stuff is hard for me. It's not hard for me, but I don't know how I'm going to talk about some of it. I might have to watch it again. There was a lot of stuff going on. It was a lot of, in my mind, it was a lot of foreshadowing happening. You know, we getting to the end, so it was a lot of stuff was set. It was like symbolism, and a lot of balls are falling into place. The whole snaps and pop thing, and so I might have to watch it again. But we're gonna definitely talk about it. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.